जय श्री श्री गुरु गंगाधर विकगिरिधारी श्री श्री राधा विनोद बिहारी जो की जय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जो की जय। नित्य विष्णु विष्णुपार अष्टोत्तर शतशिमार भक्तिवेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्रील गुरुदेव की जय। नित्य विष्णु विष्णुपार अष्टोत्तर शतशिमार श्रील भक्तिवेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यल भविष्टम विष्णुपार अशतर शतशिमार भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्यल भविष्टम विष्णुपार अशतर शतशिमार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यल भविष्टम विष्णुपार अशतर शतशिमार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्यल भविष्ट ओम विष्णुपार अशतर शतशिमार भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्यल भविष्टम विष्णुपार अशतर शतशिमार भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्यल भविष्ट महाभागवत श्रील गोरक्षर बाबूजी महाराज की जय। नित्यल भविष्य श्रील सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्यल भविष्ट वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्रील जगन्नाथ दास बाबूजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपानु गौरी गुरु वर्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्टदास रघुनाथ शारद गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर पार्षद वृंद की जय। नाम जय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदाता गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योग माया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि वो। हरे कृष्ण एवरीबॉडी दंडवत प्रणाम्स। हरि बोल Seshwari Mataji, Brihat Mardanga, and who else is there? Yeah, I see there's 6 other people. Dandavat pranams. All right, so let's begin the Jaidwani. 1 second. Just okay. I mean, sorry, I meant to say Mangalacharan. Ajnanatirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarbhaktaya Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Ajanulambita Bhujao Kanakavadato Sankirtanaikapitaro Kamalayataksho Vishwambaro Dvijavaro Yugadharmapalo Vande Jagat Priyakaro Karunavataro Namastrikala Satyaya Jagannatha Sutaya Cha Sabhrityaya Saputraya Sakalatraya Te Namaha Jai 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 Vishwambara Dvija Raj Jai Vishwambara Priya Vaishnava Samaj Gaura Chandra Jai Dharma Setu Mahadir Jai Sankirtana Moy Sundar Sharir Jai Nityanandir Bandhava Dhana Pran Jai Gadadhar Advaiter Prema Dham Jai Shri Jagarananda Priya Atishoy Jai Vakreshwar Kashishwarer Hriday Jai Jai Shivasari Priya Varganath Jiva Pratikoro Prabhu Shubha Drishtipat Madhya-khaṇḍa katha jeno amriter khanda. Je katha shunile ghuche antar pashanda. Madhya-khaṇḍa katha bhai shuno ekachite. Sankirtana aramba hoilo jeno mate. Tavai vasmi, na jivami tvaya vina. Iti vigyaya devi tvang nayamang charanantikam. Bhaktya vihina aparada lakshay. Kshiptashtakamaditaranka madhye. Kripamai tvam sharanam prapanna vrinde namaste charanarvindam. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Oh, Hari Bol, Hari Priya Didi. Nice that you had a sadhu sangha filled week. Hari Bol. Okay. So now the glories of Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata and Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur from Śrī Caitanya Charitamrita. Ore mura loko shuno Chaitanya Mangal. Chaitanya Mahima Jate Jani Beshakal. Krishna Lila Bhagavate Kohe Ved Vyas. Chaitanya Lila Vyas Vrindavana Das. Vrindavana Das Koilo Chaitanya Mangal. Jahara Shavane Nashe Sarvaya Mangal. चैतन्य नीतार जाते जानिए महिमा जाते जाने कृष्ण भक्ति सिद्धांतेर सीमा भागवते जत भक्ति सिद्धांतेर सार लिखिया चेनिह जानी कोरिया उद्धार चैतन्य मंगल सुने जदि पाषंदी जवन सेहो महावैष्णव होय ततक्षण Manushe rachite nare aiche granta dhanya Vrindavana dasamukhe bhakta Shri Caitanya Vrindavana dasa pore koti namaskar Aiche granta korite ho tarila sangsar Narayani Caitanya uchishta bhajan Tar garbe janmila Shri Dasa Vrindavan तार की अद्भुत चैतन्य चरित वर्णन जहाँ रसवन शुद्ध कोयल त्रिभुवन सहजे विचित्र मधुर चैतन्य विहार वृंदावन दास मुखे अमृतेर धार. By nature, all the activities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are very wonderful and sweet. And when they are described by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, they become like a shower of nectar. Jai Shri Caitanya-bhāgavata ki jai, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai, the Gaudiya Bhashya of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai, Swaparshad Shri Gaur Hari ki jai. And in this chapter, we read about Shri Advaita Acharya ki jai, and now today we're reading about Shri Śuklāmbara Brahmachari ki jai. Okay. Oh, Hari Bol, Nari Hari Prabhu, and Bhavatarani Mataji. Dandavat pranams to both of you. Hari Bol. Okay, so chapter 16, the Lord's acceptance of Śuklāmbara's rice. I'll read this full chapter summary and then this chapter describes Mahaprabhu and his associates' night kirtans at the house of Srivas. Srivas's mother-in-law's hiding in the kirtan hall, Advaita's mood as a servant of Chaitanya, Mahaprabhu's glorification of Sri Advaita on the pretext of anger, the Vaishnav's astonishment on seeing Mahaprabhu's great mercy on Advaita, Mahaprabhu and his associates dancing and chanting and dancing in ecstatic love of Krishna, and topics regarding Śuklāmbara Brahmachari. Okay, so now more in-depth summary. Every night, Mahaprabhu and his devotees performed kirtan at the house of Srivas after closing the door from inside. Hey, oops. Oops. So yeah, they had performed kirtan every night at the house of Srivas after closing the door from inside. This is the Ras Lila in Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Of course, everybody's in Dasya Rasa. It's not, but yeah, Ras Lila of Mahaprabhu's. With a desire to see the Lord's kirtan pastimes, the less fortunate mother-in-law of Srivas, she one day hid herself in one corner of the kirtan hall. Mahaprabhu, who is the super soul of everyone, he understood this and repeatedly declared that he was not getting any happiness in the course of dancing that night. As a result, Srivas and the devotees became frightened and worried. So they checked whether there were any outsiders within the kirtan hall. Finding his mother-in-law hidden in one corner, Srivas Pandit had her grabbed by the hair and thrown out. Thereafter, Mahaprabhu felt blissful and again began to dance with the devotees. No one is eligible to see such pastimes without the mercy of Mahaprabhu. No way to cheat your way into seeing these things. It's only by mercy. It's not by our own effort. We can't trick it. Yeah, there's no way to trick Sri Hari Guru and Vaishnavas. There's no way to cheat them, or we have to beg for mercy and pray. Then when they're merciful, then we can. So this is teaching that. Okay. So no one is eligible to see such pastimes without the mercy of Mahaprabhu. When Mahaprabhu climbed on the throne of Vishnu in the mood of the Supreme Lord, and after placing his lotus feet on everyone's head, he addressed Advaita as servant. So when he did this, Advaita became extremely pleased. But in the next moment, when Gaurasundar, the personification of inconceivable pastimes, he concealed his mood as a Supreme Lord, and he tried to take dust from the feet of the Vaishnavas in the mood of a servant. So when he did this, all the Vaishnavas felt extremely distressed in their hearts. Advaita Acharya did not love anything other than the service of Śrī Caitanya. But Mahaprabhu considered Advaita Acharya as worshipable and tried to grab his lotus feet. For this reason, Advaita Acharya felt pain in his mind. And when Mahaprabhu felt unconscious due to love of God, he would approach the Lord's lotus feet and fulfill his own desires by offering obeisances at the Lord's lotus feet, washing the Lord's feet with tears, smearing the dust of the Lord's feet upon his own head, and worshiping the Lord with various ingredients. So he always got this opportunity when Mahaprabhu would fall unconscious. One day, when Mahaprabhu fell unconscious while dancing, Advaita Acharya took the opportunity to smear the dust from Mahaprabhu's feet over his entire body. After a while, the Lord regained his external consciousness and again began to dance. He then expressed his dissatisfaction to the devotees. He said, "I'm not feeling any bliss today in my dancing." And then he's wondering, what is the cause of it? Did I commit some aparad? Or then he said, has anybody taken the dust, taken dust from his feet? He asked. When everyone remained silent out of fear of Advaita Acharya admitted with folded hands that he stole the dust from Gaurasundar's lotus feet, and he begs the Lord's forgiveness for his fault. Upon hearing the words of Advaita, Mahaprabhu externally displayed anger, and on the pretext of criticizing Advaita, he glorified him in various ways. The Lord then took the dust from Advaita's feet and placed Advaita's feet on his own chest. Thereafter, when Advaita Prabhu revealed the glories of Gaurasundar by glorifying how the Lord always tries to increase the prestige of his servants, then Mahaprabhu also began to praise the glories of Advaita. The Vaishnavas were struck with wonder on realizing the topics of Gaurasundar's unlimited mercy on Sri Advaita. Then Mahaprabhu, Nityananda, Advaita Acharya, and the other devotees, they began to dance and glorify the Lord with ecstasy. Although Nityananda Prabhu would become overwhelmed in the ecstasy of kirtan, he was always alert. Whenever he saw that Śrī Caitanya-chandra was about to fall unconscious due to love of God, he stretched out his arms and caught him. In Navadip, so that's what we read yesterday. And today we're going to be reading, this is what we're reading today. In Navadip, there lived a poor Brahmin named Śuklāmbara, who was attached to the devotional service of Vishnu. He offered Krishna whatever he collected by begging and maintained his life with the remnants. Yet, since he was day and night engaged in singing the glories of Krishna, he did not feel any distress due to poverty. Materialistic people considered him a beggar, because no one other than a recipient of Lord Chaitanya's mercy can recognize his servant. No one other than a recipient of Lord Chaitanya's mercy can recognize his servant. Only way we can recognize a Vaishnav is not through our own understanding of Shastra, our own intellect. It's by mercy. Otherwise, we can't recognize a Vaishnava. Of course, it's important to know Shastra and all that, but that's not the qualification. That's not what makes it possible. It's helpful, but the only way we can actually recognize is by mercy. One day, as Mahaprabhu was sitting in the mood of the Supreme Lord, Śuklāmbara came there with a begging bowl, I think it's supposed to say. No, begging bag. He came there with a begging bag on his shoulder and began to dance in ecstatic love for Krishna. When Mahaprabhu saw Śuklāmbara, he took a handful of rice from his bag and began to chew it while revealing the qualities of Śuklāmbara. When Śuklāmbara expressed fear of his own ruination on seeing Mahaprabhu eat that broken, inferior quality rice, Mahaprabhu informed Śuklāmbara that he always eats with love the food offered by his devotees and never even looks at the food offered by non-devotees. I think it said nectar given by non-devotees. Seeing Gaurasundar's mercy on Śuklāmbara, all the devotees happily engaged in Krishna Kirtan. After glorifying Śuklāmbara's various qualities, Mahaprabhu awarded him the benediction of ecstatic love of God. When Śuklāmbara received this benediction, all the Vaishnavas chanted the name of Hari in ecstasy. In Archan Marg, the path of deity worship, it is customary to offer foodstuffs to the Lord under certain rules and regulations. Although Śuklāmbara did not offer food in that way to the Lord, Mahaprabhu forcibly ate Śuklāmbara's rice and exhibited the superiority of the path of rag, of spontaneous attachment, over the path of archan. Being proud of high birth and other opulences, persons who are blinded with material pride cannot recognize the Vaishnavas. Rather, they blaspheme or tease them, considering them poor and foolish. That is why the Supreme Lord, who is affectionate to his devotees, does not accept worship, wealth, etc. from those who offend the Vaishnavas. It is confirmed in all scriptures that Krishna alone is the life and wealth of the akinchanas, those who have no material assets. Thereafter, the author concludes this chapter with a glorification of the results obtained by hearing this chapter. All right, so let's go to the verse we read up to. What was it? It's okay. I think it's 109, right? Haribo Vidya Lala Sadidi and Savitri, Surevi Didi. Okay. 109, oops, sorry. Let's go back the past few verses. Okay, let's see how Mahaprabhu glorified Advaita Acharya. 720. Okay. I'm going back too far. Okay. When Lord Vishwambar sat on the throne of Vishnu, once again, let me just do this. Okay. When Lord Vishwambar sat on the throne of Vishnu and placed his lotus feet on everyone's head, and when the Lord manifested his opulence, Advaita floated in an ocean of happiness. Whenever the Lord said, "O Nada, you are my servant," Advaita became unlimitedly blissful. No one can understand the inconceivable truth about Gauranga, who in the next moment would grab the feet of the Vaishnavas. Taking a straw between his teeth, he would cry, "Oh, dear Krishna, you are my life and soul." He cried in such a way that even stone would melt. The Lord constantly enjoyed his pastimes in the mood of a servant. When his mood as a supreme Lord would break, he would speak to everyone as if he did not know everything. He said, "If I ever engage in mischief, then please inform me so that I can die immediately. Krishna is my life and wealth. Krishna is my religious principle. All of you are my brothers and friends, birth after birth. I have no other goal than the service of Krishna. Help me understand this so that my mind does not deviate." All the Vaishnavas felt hesitant out of fear. They had no courage to speak. In this way, when the Lord personally gave permission, then everyone could touch his feet. The Lord always remained in the mood of a servant. As soon as he would see a Vaishnav, he would respectfully stand up and take the dust from his feet. As a result, all the Vaishnavas would feel distressed. Therefore, he would embrace them. The Lord always respected Advaita as a spiritual master. This made Advaita most unhappy. He did not get an opportunity to directly serve the Lord. Rather, the Lord would grab his feet. The lotus feet that Advaita constantly meditated on were now directly present, and Advaita's desire was to always remain absorbed in them. He was unable to do so directly, however, for the Lord would become angry. Yet he sometimes stole the dust from the Lord's feet. Whenever the Lord fell unconscious in ecstasy, Advaita approached his feet. He would then offer obeisances by falling flat at the Lord's feet and wash those feet with tears from his eyes. And sometimes he'd rub his head on the Lord's feet, and sometimes he worshipped the Lord with 6 ingredients. Such activities were possible only for Advaita because the Lord made him a great recipient of mercy. Therefore, Advaita is the foremost of all. All Vaishnavas proclaimed, "Advaita is indeed glorious." Such are the extraordinary glories of the line like Advaita. The miscreants, however, do not know this confidential truth. One day, as Lord Vishwambar danced in ecstasy, Advaita danced behind him. When Advaita saw the Lord lose consciousness, he secretly took dust from the Lord's feet and smeared it on his body. Lord Gauranga knows unlimited pranks. Ashish Kotuka Jane. When he continued dancing, he felt no happiness. The Lord said, "Why am I unable to capture the Lord in my heart? Who did I offend so that I am not feeling happy? Or has some thief stolen from me? It is because of that offense. Is it because of that offense that I am unable to dance? Some thief stole from me? Has anyone taken my dust from my feet? Do not worry. Tell me the truth." When all the devotees heard the words of the Lord, who was present within everyone's heart, they did not say anything, but remained silent in fear. If they spoke, they would have to face Advaita. And if they didn't, they would be finished. Understanding this, Advaita replied with folded hands. He said, "Listen, my lord, if a thief cannot get something openly, then he should take it secretly. I have committed the theft. I have committed the theft. Please forgive me. I will not do it again if it displeases you." Vishvambar became greatly angry on hearing Advaita's words. In anger, he began to narrate the glories of Advaita. He said, "Even after annihilating the entire world, you are not satisfied. I alone remain after annihilation. When you annihilate me, then you'll be happy. When you kill even the ascetics, sannyasis, yogis, and renowned philosophers, who can remain safe from your trident? If anyone comes to achieve your favor, you grab his feet and kill him." So since Sri Advaita Prabhu is Mahavishnu, he annihilates the universe in his form as Rudra. Okay. A great Vaishnava from Mathura came to see your glorious lotus feet. And the Mathura Nivasi Vaishnava referred to herein was Gaurasundar himself. Gaurasundar, who was incarnated as a devotee, identified himself as a Vaishnava. And since he was non-different from the son of Nanda, he referred to himself as Mathura Nivasi, a resident of Mathura. He said, "He was supposed to achieve devotional service to Vishnu by seeing you, but you even destroyed whatever spiritual strength he had. You destroyed him by taking the dust of his feet. You are most merciless. You are most merciless in the act of destruction. Krishna has rightly endowed you with devotion found in innumerable universes. Yet you steal from an insignificant source. You have no compassion when it comes to destroying an insignificant creature. You are a great bandit and the greatest of all thieves. You have stolen my ecstatic love." As the Lord spoke the truth under some pretense in this way, the devotees floated in ecstasy. You have stolen. Why can't I? Wait and see how I will steal from a thief. After saying this, the Lord grabbed Advaita and laughed as he took the dust from his feet. Advaita could not compete with the powerful lion-like Gaur, who rubbed Advaita's feet on his head. Holding Advaita's feet to his chest, the Lord said, "See how I have captured the thief in my embrace. A thief may steal hundreds of times, but a householder retrieves everything in one stroke." Advaita said, "Whatever you have said is true, but are you a householder? I don't know anything about that. My life, intelligence, mind, and body all belong to you. O Lord, if you annihilate me, who can protect me? You are the giver of happiness, and you are the giver of distress. If you punish someone, whose father can protect him? O Lord, when personalities like Narad visit Dwarka to see your lotus feet, which are their life and wealth, and you take the dust from their feet, what can they do? This is my question. When you destroy your own servant, what can he do? Please consider, what to speak of taking dust from your feet? Who can even transgress your order? But when you act in this way, it does not increase your glories. As I get annihilated, you take pleasure. This body belongs to you. You may either protect or destroy it. O Lord, do whatever you wish." Vishwambar said, "You are the storekeeper of bhakti. Tumi bhaktir bhandari. That is why I serve your feet, your lotus feet. If one smears the dust of your lotus feet all over his body, he will float in the mellows of ecstatic love for Krishna. Krishna prema rasa jale. If you do not distribute devotional service, no one can attain it. Know that I belong to you in all respects. You can sell me wherever you like. I tell you this in truth." On seeing the extraordinary mercy bestowed on Advaita, all the Vaishnavas were astonished. They thought, this great personality has truly served the Lord, for a fraction of the mercy he received cannot be compared to millions of liberations. Shiva rarely received such mercy as Advaita received from Lord Gauranga. We are also fortunate to have the association of such a devotee. We take the dust from this devotee on our entire body. When such a devotee as Advaita Prabhu is joyfully glorified, sinful persons become distressed due to their past misdeeds. The topics of that time had been narrated by the Vaishnavas and are all factual. One who doubts their words is ruined. Lord Vishwambar stood up and chanted Hari Bol. His followers sang on all sides. Oops. Advaita Acharya was overwhelmed with ecstasy. He forgot everything as he danced like an intoxicated person. Advaita Acharya, the Lord of Shantipur, touched his beard and roared loudly as he furrowed his eyebrows and danced. Day and night they all happily sang Jai Krishna, Gopala, Govinda, Vanamali. Although Lord Nityananda was greatly overwhelmed, he was expert in dancing with Lord Chaitanya. Whenever Lord Chaitanya was about to fall, the most powerful Nityananda stretched out his arms and carefully caught him. Lord Gauranga danced in unlimited ecstasy. Who has the power to describe that dancing? Balaram and Saraswati sing his glories to their full satisfaction. Sometimes the Lord lost consciousness. Sometimes his body shook. Sometimes he took straw between his teeth. And sometimes he became greatly proud. Sometimes he laughed. Sometimes he sighed deeply. And sometimes he became morose. In this way, the Lord manifests his ecstatic love. Sometimes the Lord sat in the Virasana posture, and sometimes he laughed loudly. This is a verse that we ended with yesterday. As he bestowed mercy on everyone according to their good fortune, all the Vaishnavas drowned in an ocean of ecstasy. Dubila Vaishnava Shab Ananda Sagare. All right, so now continuing from where we left off yesterday. And we don't have that much left over, so today will be a short reading. That's why I just ended up reading all the translations from verse 30. Oh, this is Shachi from Vrindavan. Okay, Hari Bol Shachi. Hare Krishna. Wait, which Shachi? I know a few Shachis. Let me know which one. Okay. So Sammukhe dekhaye Śuklāmbara brahmachari. One second. Anugraha kore tare Gauranga Shri Hari. Seeing Śuklāmbara brahmachari standing before him, Lord Shri Gaur Hari bestowed his mercy on him. Shei Śuklāmbarer shunoho kichu katha Navadipa vasati prabhur janma jatha. Now hear the topics regarding Śuklāmbara brahmachari, who lived in Navadip, where the Lord appeared. Dandavat pranams Mahi Bharat Prabhu. Parama swadharma rata parama sushanta chinite na pare ke ho parama mahanta. Śuklāmbara brahmachari was always engaged in his occupational duties, and he was most peaceful. Although no one knew it, he was a great devotee, but to everybody else, he just looked like an ordinary beggar. Navadvipe ghare ghare jhuli loe kandhe bikha kori aharnisha Krishna boli kande. He would take a bag on his shoulder and go beg alms from house to house in Navadvip. He would cry while chanting the names of Krishna day and night. Bhikhari koriya gyan loke nahi chine daridrer avadi koroye bhikhatane. Hari Bol, Shubhananda Prabhu. We're just starting Śuklāmbara Brahmachari's explanation. I mean, like the pastime. So I'll just read because you missed the beginning part. It says, now here are the topics regarding Śuklāmbara Brahmachari, who lived in Navadip, where the Lord appeared. He always engaged in his occupational duties, and he was most peaceful. Although no one knew it, he was a great devotee. He would take a bag on his shoulder and go beg alms from house to house in Navadip. He would cry while chanting the names of Krishna day and night. Bhikhari koriya gyan, loke nahi chine, daridrer avadi koroye bhikhatane. People thought he was a beggar and therefore could not recognize him. He was so poor that he had to beg alms to maintain himself. Gaudiya Bhashya by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. Being deceived by external vision, foolish people considered that Śuklāmbara Brahmachari was an ordinary beggar who desired sense gratification. The ideal examples of poverty or deficiency displayed in the activities of Krishna's devotees who dress as bhikshuks or beggars cannot be understood by persons who are maddened by the three types of false ego. Persons who are puffed up with false ego and bewildered by the illusory energy, they consider the Lord's devotees as afflicted by poverty and forced to enjoy the fruits of their karma. But they are incapable of understanding the poverty, deficiency, or lack of material possessions in the Vaishnavas. Although such Vaishnavas are exalted, they visit the houses of the poor householders in order to help the living entities accumulate agyato sukriti, or some unknown devotional service. Well, devotional service isn't really the definition of sukriti. It's the merits that lead to bhakti, not bhakti itself. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya 839, it is stated, Mahanta swabhava tarite pamar, nija karya nahi tabu janatar ghar. It is the general practice of all saintly people to deliver the fallen. Therefore, they go to people's houses, although they have no personal business there. As a result, the giver acquires agyata sukriti. Only those who can understand this spiritual propensity are able to worship Hari by accepting the dress of a beggar in the temple of devotional service and by helping foolish people who are attached to material objects attain piety. Accepting pure Brahminical behavior, the beggars in the temple of devotional service do not engage in self-deceit by remaining on the platform of materialistic Brahminical behavior, but rather they engage all their accumulated alms in the service of Krishna. Since Vaishnavas do not abide in the so-called Brahmanism based on sense gratification, like the Brahmanism that is averse to Krishna and aimed at enjoying the fruits of karma, they engage everything in the service of Krishna and do not allow the fools of the world to understand their characteristics and exalted position. Okay. Bhikkha kori divase je kichu vipra pai, Krishner naivedya kori tabe shesha khai. After begging during the day, the Brahman offered whatever he received to Krishna and accepted his remnants. Who's calling me? 1 second. Let me see if this is important. No. Krishnananda prasade daridra nahi jane, boliya bedai Krishna shakala bhavane. In the ecstasy of receiving Krishna's mercy, he did not know poverty. He would chant Krishna's names as he wandered from house to house. Chaitanyar kripa patra ke chinite pare, jokono Chaitanya anugraha kore jare. Who can recognize the recipient of Lord Chaitanya's mercy? Only one who is favored by the Lord is able. Purve jeno achilo daridra damodar, Śrī Śuklāmbara Vishnu Bhakti Dharo, Vishnu Bhakti Dhar. Śuklāmbara engaged in the devotional service of Vishnu, just as the poor Damodar did previously. Gaudiya Bhashya. The word Damodar refers to the Brahmin named Sridham or Sridham Sudama. Sridham or Sridama, also known as Sudama. He was Krishna's friend and companion. One should discuss Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, Chapter 80. She mato kripa o korila Vishwambhar, je rahe Chaitanya nrite parir bhitar. Vishwambar bestowed such mercy on him that he could remain inside the house to watch the Lord dance. Jhuli kande loy vipra nache maharange, dekhi hase prabhu shab Vaishnaver shange. On seeing the Brahmin dance in ecstasy with his bag on his shoulder, the Lord and all the Vaishnavas laughed. Boshiya achoy prabhu ishvar abeshe, jhuli kande Śuklāmbara nache kande hase. As Vishwambar sat down in the mood of the Supreme Lord, Śuklāmbara danced, cried, and laughed with his bag on his shoulder. Śuklāmbara dekhiya Gauranga kripamoy, Aisho Aisho kori Prabhu bolo e sadoy. While watching Śuklāmbara, the most merciful Gauranga repeatedly called out to him, "Come, come." দারিদ্র সেবা কমর তুমি জন্ম জন্ম আমারে সকল দিয়া তুমি ভিক্ষু ধর্ম আমি হো তোমার দ্রব্য অনুক্ষণ চাই তুমি না দিলে ও আমি বলো করি খাই You are my poor servant, birth after birth. You give me everything and remain a beggar. I always desire your foodstuffs. Even if you don't give me, I forcibly take and eat them. Sri Gaudiya Bhashya. Sri Mahaprabhu said to Śuklāmbara, You are my impoverished devotee birth after birth. You have no desire to enter family life and become a householder. You beg alms door to door as a brahmachari and offer me whatever you collect. You are a Naishtika brahmachari, or a lifelong celibate. You are free from even the mundane. You are free from even the mundane false ego of the grahastas and vanaprasthas. Being situated in Paramahamsa Dharma, you've accepted the occupational duties of a renounced akinchana. Therefore, you are a fully surrendered Tridandi Bhikshu, or Vaishnav sannyasi. You have been able to fully offer me all endeavors of your body, mind, and speech. I always long for your offering. You have no preoccupation in enjoying anything other than offering everything to me. Therefore, I forcibly took everything away from you, and as a result, you are poor. Dwarkar maje khuda kari khailo tor, pasharilo kamala dhorilo hastamor. Did you forget that I forcibly ate your broken rice in Dwarka? Kamala, the goddess of fortune, caught hold of my hand. Gaudiya Bhashya. For a description of this incident, referred to Srimad Bhagavatam 10:81:10. Iti mushtim sakrij jagdva dvityam jagum adade tavat chir jagrihe hastam tatpara parameshtina. After saying this, the Supreme Lord ate one palmful. The Lord ate one palmful and was about to eat a second when the devoted goddess Rukmini took hold of his hand. এতো বলি হাসতা দিয়া জুলিয়ের ভিতর মুষ্টি মুষ্টি টান্ডুল চিবায় Vishwambar. After speaking in this way, Vishwambar took a handful of uncooked rice from Śuklāmbara's begging bag and began eating it. Śuklāmbara bole Prabhu koilo sarvanash etandule khudakhan bahuta prakash. Śuklāmbara exclaimed, "Oh Lord, you have ruined me. This rice is full of broken particles." Prabhu bole tor khuda khuda kanamui khaya Abhaktir amrita ulati nahi chaya. The Lord replied, I eat your broken rice, and I turn my face away from the nectar offered by the non-devotees. Gaudiya Bhashya. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 1081.3, it is stated, Un unvapya sorry, un unvapyupahritam bhaktai premna bhuryeva me bhavit bhuryapya sorry bhuryapya bhaktopahritam name toshaya kalpate. I regard as great even the smallest gift offered by my devotees in pure love. But even great offerings presented by non-devotees do not please me. Swatantra Paramananda Bhakter Jivan Chivai Tandulke Koribe Nibaran. The Lord, who is independent, full of ecstasy, and the life of devotees, ate that uncooked rice. Who could stop him? Prabhur Karunya Deki Sarva Bhaktagan Shire Hat Diya Sabe Koren Krandan. On seeing the Lord's compassion, all the devotees began to cry while holding their heads. Na jane ke kon dige poroe kandiya, sabe vivala hoila karunya dekiya. No one knew who fell where. No one knew who fell where as they cried. Everyone was overwhelmed on seeing such compassion. Uthilo Paramananda Krishner Kirtan Shishuvrida Adi Kori Kande Sarvajan. They then began to chant the glories of Krishna in great ecstasy. Everyone cried, from the children on up to the aged. Shishuvrida Adi. Tante trina kore keho namaskare. Keho bole, Prabhu kabu na chhadi ba more. Oh Prabhu, kabu na chhadi ba more. Someone held a straw between his teeth. Someone offered obeisances, and another said, "Oh Lord, never leave me." Paragari jayen sukriti shuklambar, tandol kayen shuke vaikunta ishvar. The pious Shuklambar rolled on the ground as the Lord of Vaikunta happily ate that rice. Prabhu bole shuno Shuklambar brahmachari, tomar hridaye ami sarvada bihari. The Lord said, listen, Shuklambar brahmachari. I constantly enjoy pastimes in your heart. Tomar bhojane hoy, amar bhojan, tumi bhikshay chalile, amar parjatan. When you eat, I eat. When you walk about for begging, that is my walking. Gaudiya Bhashya. The Lord accomplishes his mission of distributing the holy names and love of God through the Vaishnav Tridandi sannyasis, who, under the shelter of Śrī Caitanya-dev, wander about on the pretext of begging alms. Prem bhakti bilaite mor avatar, janma janma tumi prem sevaka amar. I have incarnated to distribute prem bhakti. You are my beloved servant, birth after birth. Tomare dilam ami prema bhakti dan, nishchoy jani ho prema bhakti mor pran. I now give you prem bhakti. Know for certain that prem bhakti is my life and soul. Śuklāmbarer varshuni Vaishnava mandal Jai Jai Haridvani Korila Sakshakal. On hearing the benediction Śuklāmbara received, all the Vaishnavas chanted Jai Jai Hari Hari. Kamala Nathir Bhritya Ghare Ghare Mage E Raser Marma Jane Kon Mahabhage. The servant of Lakshmi's Lord begs from door to door. What fortunate soul can understand the mystery of such pastimes? Dash gare magiya tandul viprapai, Lakshmipati Gora Chandra taha kadit kai. Whatever rice Śuklāmbara collected by begging at 10 houses, whatever he collected begging at 10 houses was forcibly eaten by Gora Chandra, the husband of Lakshmi. Gaudiya Bhashya. Śuklāmbara Brahmachari, the unalloyed devotee of Sri Gaurasundar, the Lord of Unlimited Potencies, was not given the opportunity to serve Hari according to his own will with the foods that he had collected from various places. Rather, Sriman Mahaprabhu approved the system of begging by personally taking those foods. As a result, persons who are under the shelter of Śrī Caitanya came to know that Śrī Caitanya-deva is the only worshipable Lord of the Tridandi Bhikshus. The Tridandi Bhikshus do not collect foodstuffs for the purpose of satisfying their stomachs or for sense gratification. Rather, they utilize those items for the service of Krishna. Remaining aloof from material enjoyment, the brahmacharis and sannyasis take to the path of begging and maintain the principle of accepting only what is required. The Vaishnava sannyasis serve the Supreme Lord with the ingredients that they collected by begging. The Vaishnava sannyasis' acceptance of various material sense objects, like form and taste, is not for satisfying the desires of their own senses. Rather, they do not remain entangled in non-devotional comforts by utilizing those objects in the service of Krishna and the Vaishnavas. Persons who are initiated in Śrī Caitanya Math or who have received transcendental knowledge, they simply follow the celibacy of Śrī Śuklāmbara while living in the Śrī Gaudiya Math. Since Śrī Caitanya-deva snatches and eats all the food items of the Math residents, they are able to assist Gaur Hari in his act of stealing. It is certainly the duty of the residents of a devotional Math to engage everything in the service of Sri Gaurasundar. This propensity is worthy of being called prem. If pious living entities aspire for prem, they should certainly observe the pure characteristics of the Math residents. The equal vision that is attained by successfully understanding the futility of the fifth ashram and fifth varna for those who are established within the 4 ashrams and 4 varnas is clearly visible in the transcendental character of the residents of a devotional Math. Therefore, only those residents of the devotional Maths who are most intelligent, fortunate, and conversant in the transcendental mellows, only they understood these topics, and after giving up worldly responsibilities, they are always anxious to serve the fortunate householders by preaching the holy names and love of God at each and every house. This is good for brahmachari. This is our ideal in the Math. Okay. Rudrar sahita naivedyer jata vidhi Veda rupe apane bolen guna nidhi. Sorry, I'm just all of a sudden it started getting tired. Let me just stretch. Oh, okay. Mudrar sahita naivedyer jata vidhi Veda rupe apane bolen guna nidhi. The Lord, who is the reservoir of transcendental qualities, personally explains through the Vedas the rules for offering food. Gaudiya Bhashya. The rules for offering food to the Lord are explained as follows. One should chant the mantra Astray Phat while sprinkling water on the offering and protect it by executing the chakra mudra. What's the chakra mudra? I think it's in Argentina. Let's see. Chakra. Oops, I got it here on the screen. Oh, yes, I've seen Premananda do this one. This is a chakra mudra. Here, let me put it up on the screen. Here's a chakra mudra. So you get 2 hands together like this. Bottom hand like that, top hand like that. Here, I'll show you. Here's the chakra mudra. Hey, Kishore, I didn't notice you. Haribo. So the chakra mudra. And there's one I've seen Premananda do a bunch of times. What is it? It's like this. Like that. And that's like the udders of a cow. Like that. Like sprinkling milk from the udders of a cow onto the, but chakra mudra. Okay. So, so one should chant the mantra Astre Fat while sprinkling water on the offering and protect it by executing the chakra mudra. Thereafter, one should dip his finger into water and chant the Vayu Bij, young, 10 times, and sprinkle that water on the offering. Huh, I've never heard that one before. So young, 10 times. Okay. And then after purifying the dryness of the offering by this process, one should mentally place a Vahni Bij, rang, with the palm of his right hand with his left hand below the right hand. Wait. Let me reread this. But that's interesting. You put water on the offering and then you dry it with the Vayu Bij, young. After purifying the dryness of the offering by this process. Oh no, you purify the dryness of the offering. Okay. So then one should mentally place a Vahni Bij, rang, with the palm of his right hand with his left hand below the right hand and display it before the offering. So like this, like it's kind of like the chakra mudra, but the one hand is on the other way around, like that, I'm guessing. Yeah. With the fire arising from this, one should mentally burn the dryness of the offering. Thereafter, one should mentally place an Amrita Bij, thumb, with his left palm. Then, with the right hand below the left, display this before the offering. One should then sprinkle the nectar arising from this mudra on the offering. After that, one should sprinkle the previously purified water on the offering while chanting the Mool mantra and consider that the entire offering is nectar. Kind of feels like a wizard doing like different. It's kind of cool. Okay. After that, one should sprinkle the previously purified water on the offering while chanting the Mool mantra and consider that the entire offering is nectar. Then touching the offering with one's right hand, one should chant the Mool mantra 8 times. After that, while executing the Dhenu mudra, oh, I think that's the one I was showing you before. I think this is Dhenu mudra, the one like the udders, I'm guessing. Because Dhenu means cow. One should consider that the offering is complete, and one should worship that offering along with Sri Hari, the ingredients such as water and sandalwood paste. Thereafter, taking a handful of flowers, one should worship Sri Hari and pray as follows. O Lord, let fire emanate from your lotus mouth to accept this offering. Interesting. Okay. Thereafter, one should consider that fire is emanating from the Lord's mouth and contacting the offering, burning it to pieces. Then then touching the offering with one's left hand and taking water with sandalwood pulp and flowers in one's right hand. And after chanting the Mool mantra ending in Swaha, one should chant Shri Krishnaya idam naivedam kalpayami and throw the water with sandalwood pulp and flowers from his right hand onto the ground. Thereafter, one should offer the foodstuffs with tulsi to the Lord with appropriate mantras. The mantra for offering foods to the Lord is Naivedyami Bhavate Jushanedam Havir Hare. Then chanting the mantra Amrit Amritopastaranam Asi Swaha. After chanting that mantra, one should appropriately offer water to the Lord for cleansing his hands and mouth and execute the Grasa Mudra, resembling a fully blossomed lotus. Okay, let's see what the Grasa Mudra looks like. Grasa Mudra. Hey. Oops, sorry, I have it. Hmm. Anyways, I don't see the grass mudra here. Okay. Anyways, it resembles a fully blossomed lotus. Factually, one should execute the 5 mudras beginning with the pran mudra with one's right hand while chanting the 5 corresponding mantras that begin with Om and ends in the 4th dative case and Swaha. Okay, yeah, because the 4th case, the dative case means unto you, like Krishnaya, Govindaya, um, Guruve. Those are all, that's the dative case. That means unto whatever. Yeah. Radhikayai, that's the dative case. Unto Srimati Radhika. Thereafter, one should touch the 2 thumbs with the adjoining index fingers, chants the appropriate mantras for offering, and executes the offering mudra before the Lord. The mantra to be chanted while executing the offering mudra is Tau Nama Paraya Avatmane Niruddhaya Naivedyam Kalpayami. Persons who are engaged in devotional service to the Lord chant their worshipable mantra, the Gayatri mantras, and execute the Gas mudra to offer the foodstuffs. But they do not meditate on fire emanating from the lotus mouth of Hari. The main point is that they joyfully feed Sri Hari according to Vaishnav etiquette. See Hari Bhakti Vilas, 8th Vilas. Man, that is a full-on offering. Oops, I haven't been looking at the comments. Okay, you just came. Cool. Yeah, isn't that really neat? Okay, I'm just opening this again. Moving it back to this. Okay, that's really fascinating. Okay, Bine she vidhi kichu shrikara na kore shakal pratigya churna bhakter duare. Okay, so the previous verse said that we just read said the Lord, who is a reservoir of transcendental qualities, personally explains through the Vedas the rules for offering foods. And so these are all the many rules for offering foods. My God, I never even knew about any of this stuff. And now, he does not accept anything unless it is offered according to those rules. But he breaks all those injunctions for the sake of his devotees. Shakal pratigya churna bhakter duare. Churna means like powder, right? It just crushes it all into powder. It's just for the sake of his devotees. Śuklāmbara tandul tahar paramana atayeva shakala vidhir bhakti prana. The acceptance of Śuklāmbara's rice is the proof of this. Therefore, devotion is the life of all rules. Wow, that's beautiful. Shakal vidhir bhakti pran. Shakal vidhir bhakti pran. Devotion is the life of all rules. Jata vidhi nished shakali bhakti das ihate jahar dukh she jai nash. Bhakti vidhimul kohilen veda vyas shakshate goranga taha korila prakash. All rules and regulations are servants of devotional service. One who is distressed because of this is vanquished. Vedavyas has stated that devotion is the root of all rules, and Gauranga has directly demonstrated this. Gaudiya Bhashya. In the Padma Puran, it is stated, Smartavya satatam Vishnur vismartavyo najatuchit sarve vidhi nishedhasyur etayor eva kinkara. I remember seeing this in Jaivadharma. This is an important verse. Krishna is the origin of Lord Vishnu. He should always be remembered and never forgotten at any time. All the rules and prohibitions mentioned in the Shastras should be the servants of these two principles. So everything that we read in the Shastras, any kind of rule and regulation, what is the purpose behind it? Why do we do this? It's to remember Vishnu and never forget him. It's such an important mantra. We should always think, whenever we're doing anything, we should remember why we're doing it. This is why. If we're not remembering that, then whatever we're doing is useless. It doesn't have any weight to it. Shri Gaurasundar's pastime of accepting Śuklāmbara's rice out of love without considering whether the rice was parboiled or raw, and ignoring the rules for proper offering, is the ultimate goal for persons who are on the path of Archan and who follow the path of regulated devotional service based on the Pancharatras. Wait. Ignoring those rules. Yeah. Okay. So we're doing all these things with the aim of that we'll be able to actually offer them with love, where the Lord doesn't even care about all the rules and regulations. Yeah. Okay. I think I understood that. Oh, and by the way, parboiled rice is mean like in Bengal especially, like you see they have what do you call it? Siddha anna. Siddha chawal. And that's rice that has been boiled before, and so then like when you cook it, it cooks very quickly. And like most rice that you get here is parboiled rice, but you're generally not able to offer that to Thakurji. Like it's not usually fit for offering because it's cooked by, it's grains cooked by non-devotees, and so you're never supposed to offer grains cooked by non-devotees to Krishna. And so lots of times in the mat, they'll like cook a bunch of parboiled rice for everybody, like big quantity because it's cheap. And then they will make a separate offering for Thakurji with like, Govinda Bhog rice or, like better, nice quality rice, not parboiled. All Vedic rules and regulations are simply favorable attempts towards devotional service. Therefore, since the devotees on the path of anurag, attachment, are situated thousands of miles beyond unfavorable attempts, they never transgress the path of vidhi, or regulative principles. Rather, they constantly remain on the path of anurag while following the regulative principles in the course of their service to Krishna. Those foolish materialistic persons who, due to material conceptions, are unable to understand service on the path of anurag, they become averse to the service of Krishna. That is why the verse api chet suduracharo, and for a translation of this verse later. So that's why this verse api chet suduracharo has appeared in Sri Krishna's Bhagavad Gita. This does not mean that sinful life full of selfishness and perversion can be accepted as spontaneous devotional service. Highlight this point. Because lots of times people think, oh yeah, Raghunuga Bhakti, man, no rules and regulations. Just, do it whatever I feel, but that's not Raganuga Bhakti. That's not devotional service with Anurag. That's just wanting to have convenience and be lazy and that's not love. That's just, yeah. But without understanding this, the Prakrit Sahajias, who are attached to material enjoyment, revolt against the pure devotees and pure devotional service, and thus traverse the path to hell. The topics of regulative devotional service and its concomitant rules and regulations that Sri Vedavyas has described in the Smritis and the Puranas are properly illustrated in the character of Sri Gaurasundar and his matchless servants. But yeah, we perform all the rules and regulations with the aim of being able to do it with love, offer these things with love, and like that. Right now, we don't have that. We can't just all of a sudden, if we pretend that we all of a sudden are beyond rules and regulations and stuff, then we're becoming like the Prakrit Sahajias. Mudra nahi kore. But then also on the other side, there are people who are just like we were just reading, there are people who are just like wanting to follow all the rules and regulations, and they don't appreciate the path of rag. They don't think they don't, and so both things are wrong. To yeah, one side and the other side. Mudra nahi kore vipra na dilo apane tatapi tandul prabhu khailo jatane. The Brahmana did not offer the rice with mudras, nor did he even offer it. Yet, nevertheless, the Lord eagerly ate it. This is our supreme aim, is that the Lord will forcefully eat what we're offering. Vishaya modanda shab e marma na jane sutta dhana kula made vaishnava na chine. Persons who are blinded by the pride of material enjoyment cannot understand this mystery. Intoxicated by their children, wealth, and family prestige, they cannot recognize a Vaishnav. Dekhi murka daridra je Vaishnavere hase, tar puja vitta kabu Krishnere na base. Krishna never accepts the offerings and worship of one who ridicules a Vaishnav, considering him foolish or poor. Okay, sorry. Gaudiya Bhashya. By Sri Gaurasundar's attainment of the topmost platform of Raganuga, spontaneous love, as the ultimate goal of regulative devotional service. So what's the ultimate goal of regulative devotional service? Is Raganuga. But we need to perform regulative devotional service. We need to perform Vaidhi Bhakti, but with that top, with the aim of that. So by Sri Gaurasundar's ascertainment of Raganuga as the ultimate goal of Vaidhi, it is understood that the glories and sweetness of Anurag is situated beyond all arrangements in the path of Archan. Those who think themselves highly advanced in sensually acquired knowledge invites their own destruction by analyzing Vaishnavas from a materialistic point of view. Although such people blinded by the pride of material enjoyment may beget many children, they become greatly prosperous and may take birth in respectable families. And they cannot understand that only a Vaishnav can become a guru. Traditions like the artificial worship and the giving of initiation that are found in the families of the acharyas are simply blindness due to pride. Like the, what do you call it? Jati. What do you call it? Yeah. No, Kulu. There's Kulu gurus. That, right? So that is why the concepts found in the philosophy of the caste Goswamis are unable to define a Vaishnav. After prolonged study of the Vedas, learned scholars consider Vaishnavas who have already attained the fruit of Vedic studies as ignorant fools, poverty-stricken, and worthy of ridicule. But Krishna never accepts worship or the ingredients of worship from such proud persons. A poor Vaishnav's offering of everything is proof that he is freed from greed for objects not related to Krishna. Therefore, until one becomes an unalloyed Vaishnav, he cannot satisfy Krishna. In this regard, one should discuss the two verses from Srimad Bhagavatam beginning Yesham sa esha Bhagavan and Yasyaham anugrihnami. And then it gives the in square brackets, the full thing is given. Shall we read them? I don't think it's in the Gaudiya Bhashya, but let's just read them. So one should discuss these two verses. Let's see what they are. Yesham sa esha Bhagavan dhyayed ananta sarvatmanashrita pado yadi nirvyalikam te dustaran atitaranti tadeva mayam naisham mamaham iti dhishvarshigala bhakshye. Oops, I didn't do this at all in the right meter because I couldn't see what. Anyways, it means, but anyone who's specifically favored by the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, due to unalloyed surrender unto the service of the Lord, That person can overcome the insurmountable ocean of illusion and can understand the Lord. But those who are attached to this body, which is meant to be eaten at the ends by dogs and jackals, cannot do so. That's Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd Canto, Chapter 7, verse 42. And then the next verse. Yasyaham anugrinnami harishe tad dhanam shanai tatta dhanam tyajantyasya swajana dukadukhitam. Yeah, both these verses are very famous. This one I've heard many times, but I don't know it. Yeah, this is a very famous verse. Okay. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, Chapter 88, verse 8. If I especially favor someone, I gradually deprive him of his wealth. Then the relatives and friends of such a poverty-stricken man abandon him. In this way, he suffers one distress after another. We hear Srila Prabhupada speak about this verse, right? But all his business attempts failed. Then he came across this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. He said, well, yes, so this is a very special verse for us, especially. Okay. So Vaishnavas always consider the concepts of attaining, wait. Let's just, okay, so in this regard, one should discuss these two verses from Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. Vaishnavas always consider the concepts of attaining material objects to be as insignificant as the concepts found in the state of a dream, and the attainment of perishable objects to be as insignificant in the state of awakening in this material world. Yeah, so like a dream, you don't get, yeah, anyways, because it's temporary. Dreams are temporary, and so are the things that we get in this world. They're temporary. They're not ours. They'll disappear. Therefore, they are always situated far away from material enjoyers who resemble the Prakrit Sahajas. But on seeing the opulences of foremost devotees like Pundarik Vidyanidhi and Rai Ramananda, the materialist's observation of materialistic tendencies in such devotees' sensual activities increases their bewilderment. This is because they are blinded by the intoxication of sense gratification. They think everybody's like themselves. So they see a pure devotee, they see Raya Ramananda with all these opulences, and they think, he's like me, and why is he enjoying all that? The conviction that Krishna is the only object of enjoyment, there is no object of enjoyment other than him, is most desirable for devotees of Vishnu. Under the influence of such greed, those who are enthusiastic about Krishna's form, qualities, associates, characteristics, and pastimes attain auspiciousness due to having worshipped Vasudeva in hundreds of previous births. And having taken shelter of the holy names, they receive the opportunity to display their exemplary process of worship on the path of Anurag. Okay, so verse 49. Okay, so that Sri Hari is controlled only by his devotees and does not even accept the worship of non-devotees. So that fact is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 31, verse 21 as follows. Na bhajati kumani, sorry, what's the, how do you, okay. Na bhajati no, what's the meter for this? Na bhajati kumani shinam saijam hariradhanatma dhanapriyo rasagya shruta dhanakula karmanam madharye vedadhati papam akinchaneshu satsu. I don't know what the meter was for that. Anyways, the Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes very dear to those devotees who have no material possessions, but are fully happy in possessing the devotional service of the Lord. Indeed, the Lord relishes the devotional activities of such devotees. Those who are puffed up with material education, wealth, aristocracy, and fruit of activity are very proud of possessing material things, and they often deride the devotees. Even if such people offer the Lord worship, the Lord never accepts them. Akinchana prana Krishna sarva vede gai. Shakshate Gauranga e tahare dekhai. All the Vedas sing, Krishna is the life and soul of those who have no material possessions. Gauranga personally demonstrated this. Gaudiya Bhashya. Krishna is like the life and soul of those akinchanas who have no attachment for any object in this world. This fact is sung by all the Vedas and the literatures in pursuance of the Vedas. Gaurasundar was the acharya and preacher of that confidential Vedic truth. Through his devoted servants, the Lord revealed the insignificance of material conceptions and expertise in abstracting the essence of the Vedas. Those who hear topics about the pastimes of Śuklāmbara and Gaurasundar have undergone the samskar of piercing their spiritual ears. And while rendering loving service at the lotus feet of at the feet of Śrī Caitanya-dev, they become known as Gaudiyas in the form of beggars in the temple of devotional service. But while identifying themselves as Gaudiyas, they do not try to commit suicide by remaining far away from the service of Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet and thereby becoming averse to the service of Govinda. Śuklāmbara tandul bhojana jai shune, she prema bhakti pai Chaitanya charane. One who hears about how the Lord ate Śuklāmbara's rice attains unalloyed devotional service at the feet of Lord Chaitanya. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Chanda Jan Vrindavana Dasa Tachu Padaju Gegan. Accepting Shri Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu as my life and soul, I, Vrindavan Das, sing the glories of their lotus feet. Thus ends the English translation of the Gaudiya Bhashya commentary on Śrī Caitanya-bhāgavata Madhya-khaṇḍa chapter 16, entitled The Lord's Acceptance of Śuklāmbara's Rice. So the results of reading this chapter, She Prema Bhakti Pai Chaitanya Charane. One attains Prem Bhakti for the lotus feet of Śrī Caitanya. Jai. Jai Shri Śuklāmbara Brahmachari ki Jai. Shri Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki Jai. Oh, Haribo Sachidananda. Sachi, great to see you here. Wonderful. All right, so that is our reading for today. What is tomorrow? Let's see. Let me open this up. Why is it not opening up? There it is. I have it opened up on my other screen. That's why. Let's see. Tomorrow we will be reading. Tomorrow is, let's see. We won't be able to finish this reading tomorrow. We'll get close to finishing it. But tomorrow is the Lord's wandering throughout Navadvip and descriptions of the devotees' glories. So tomorrow we'll read about the wandering of Mahaprabhu throughout the city of Navadvip, the various statements of the atheists against Mahaprabhu and Mahaprabhu's reply to them, the Lord's inauguration of Sankirtan to mitigate the miseries he felt due to conversing with the atheists, the absence of the Lord's ecstasy during the performance of Kirtan and his inquiry about the cause, the statement of Srimad Advaita Acharya and his dancing, the Lord's exhibition of loving anger towards Advaita due to the absence of ecstasy in Kirtan, again, the Lord's jumping into the waters of the Ganga, the act of lifting the Lord out of the Ganga by Nityananda and Haridas, the Lord's order to Nityananda and Haridas to keep him concealed, the Lord's arrival at the house of Nandanacharya, Nandanacharya's service to the Lord, Mahaprabhu's secret stay at the house of Nandan, Advaita's distress and fasting due to not seeing the Lord, Mahaprabhu's invitation to Srivas through Nandanacharya and his inquiry about Advaita from Srivas, the Lord's arrival at the place of Advaita, the Lord's words of solace to Advaita, Advaita's prayers for the service of Gaur, and the glories of Krishna service. That's what we're going to read about tomorrow. And then after that is Mahaprabhu dancing in the mood of a gopi. Mahaprabhu's dancing as a gopi. All right. Very fascinating. Okay, so let's end for today. Oh, Haribo, Madhavi. All right. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Okay, Kishore Prabhu, could you do Jaidvani?
Join Nitai. Jai Sabrikar Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Karna Harika Giridhari Radhavinar Bihari Radhanainath Radharaman Bihari Radhamarva Shri Shri Sachinan Gaur Hari Radha Gopinath Jiv Ki Jai Sri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mahan Jiv Ki Jai Jayanati Alela Pravishtam Vishnapar Paramaham Sabre Vrajagshari Varyastotra Shishaman Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Guru Maharaj Ki Jai Jayanati Alela Pravishtam Vishnapar Paramaham Sabre Vrajagshari Varyastotra Shishaman Bhakti Vigyan Narayan Goswami Maharaj Pati Pavan Sharila Gurudev Ki Jai त्यालेल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र शिशुमान भक्ति बल तीर्थ गोस्वामी महाराज की जय त्यालेल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र शिशुमान भक्ति विरान वामन गोस्वामी महाराज की जय त्यालेल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र शिशुमान भक्ति विरान त्रिविक्रम गोस्वामी महाराज की जय त्यालेल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शर भक्ति स्वरूप दामोदर महाराज की जय त्यालेल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शर गौरगंध महाराज की जय त्यालेल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शल भक्ति वैभाव प्रिय गोस्वामी महाराज की जय त्यालेल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शल भक्ति प्रमोद प्रिय गोस्वामी महाराज की जय त्यालेल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद शल भक्ति रक्षक श्रीधर गोस्वामी महाराज की जय त्यालेल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र शिशुमान भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी गोस्वामी महाराज शरील प्रभुपाद की जय त्यालेल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र शिशुमान भक्ति द्वैत मार्ग गोस्वामी परम गुरु महाराज की जय त्यालेल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र शिशुमान भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव स्वामी महाराज परम गुरुदेव की जय त्यालेल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद स्तोत्र शिशुमान जगुरगुरु शिवर शुभानावि द्वैतरास शिल भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की जय स्वापरिकार श्रील प्रभुपाद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर की जय त्यालेल प्रविष्ट ओम विष्णुपाद महापरम भगवत परवार परमहंस अष्टोत्र शिशुमान गौर किशोर दास पक्षी महाराज की जय त्यालेल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद सप्तम गोस्वामी स्तोत्र शिशुमात सचिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर महाशय की जय त्यालेल प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद वैष्णव सर्वोम अष्टोत्र शिशुमात जगन्नाथ पक्षी महाराज की जय सूर्य कुंदवास सिद्ध शिल मधुसून दास पक्षी महाराज की जय श्री उर्वदास उदरान दास की जय करविनान आचार्य शिल बलदेव विभूषण प्रभु की जय महामहोपाध्याय रसिक शिरोमणि शिल विश्वनाथ चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर पाद की जय शिल रसिकानंद मुरारी प्रभु की जय शिल रामचंद्र कविराज की जय श्री लोचन दास ठाकुर की जय जय शिल नरोत्तम श्रीनिवास श्यामानंद प्रभु त्राय की जय शिल कृष्णदास कविराज गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय यशवतार अरिकाव्य शिल वृंदावन दास ठाकुर की जय श्री अष्टकविराज वसुर जानव नित्यानंद पुरुष गोपाल श्री सरस्वती महंत जगनानंद माधव नंद की जय जय श्री रूपा श्री सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीवा गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ सर्गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय श्री स्वरूप दामोदर रय रमानंद लोकनाथ गर्भ आदि गौर परिषद वृंद की जय नमाचार्य शिल हरिदास ठाकुर की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिव श्री गौर भक्ति वृंद की जय शिल ईश्वर परिपाद की जय शिल मारविंद्र परिपाद की जय जय श्री अंडरद्वीप मायपुर समद्वीप गौतमद्वीप मध्यद्वीप कलयुद्वीप ऋतुद्वीप चांद्रद्वीप माधर द्रुमाद्वीप रुद्रद्वीप मात्मका श्री नावद्वीप धाम की जय श्री एक चक्र धाम की जय श्री शांतिपुर धाम की जय श्री गौरचंद्र भगवान की जय श्री श्री गौर गदाधर जीव की जय जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ कपि कपा ग गिरगोवर्धन वर्षद बनान माक श्री ब्रज मंडल धाम की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गंग सखी आमन सखी तुलसी भक्ति देवी की जय। जय वृषभानुनंदिनी श्रीमती राधा रानी ठाकुरानी की जय। श्री ललिता विशाख चित्र चंपकलत तुंग विद्या इंदुलेखा रंग देवी सुदेवी अरि सखी वृंद की जय। श्री अनंग प्रेम मुजलाल श्री रूप लमंगा राग विलस गुणरति कस्तूरी कमल नयन मणि अरि मंजारी वृंद की जय। श्रीमती वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भगवती पूर्णमासी उमाई देवी की जय। श्री गोपीश्वर सर शिव महादेव की जय। जय राधा पनंतित धाम श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। जय श्री मथुरा धाम की जय। जय श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा सुदर्शन चक्र नीलमाधव जीव की जय। श्री तत्व गोपीनाथ की जय। श्री अलरनाथ की जय। जय श्री नमचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर समाधि मंदिर की जय। श्री सर्वकुल की जय। शिल प्रभुपाद आविर्भाव स्थली की जय। जय श्री जगन्नाथपुरी पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र मंडल नीलाचल धाम की जय। जय सर्व विक्रम विनाशन कुरी भक्त विक्रम विनाश श्रीन्द्र सिंह देव की जय। जय भक्तराज भक्त प्रवर श्री प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। जय शिवलाल लक्ष्मेंद्र सिंह देव की जय। जय श्री चरिदाम चरि संप्रदाय चरि आचार्य की जय। श्री मध्वा रमनुज विष्णु स्वामी निम्बदित्य चरि आचार्य की जय। श्री विश्वक्सेन की जय। जय कर्मधरा श्री चैतन्य मात की जय। श्री गौरी मात वृंद की जय। जय ग्रंथरा श्रीमाद भगवताम भगवद गीता चैतन्य चरितामृत चैतन्य भागवत जैव धर्म आदि सर्व गौरी वैष्णव ग्रंथ वृंद की जय। जय त्रिभुवन मंगल श्री हरि नाम प्रभु की जय। जय त्रिभुवन मंगल श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन युग धर्म की जय। जय त्रिभुवन मंगल धन्य कलयुग तर्क ब्रह्म श्री हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे महामंत्र की जय। श्री आनंद गुरी वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री समकट गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। जय परम ब्रह्मन परमा सत्यम परमेश्वर पति पावन प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम स्वयं भगवान जगन्नाथ मिश्र नंदन गौर सुंदर गराधर प्राणनाथ शिव शंबर मिश्र निमाय पंडित श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य चंद्र महाप्रभु की जय। जय परमा दयाल परमा करुणामयी भक्ति स्वरूप श्री श्रीमान नित्यानंद लक्ष्मण बलराम की जय। परमा दयाल श्रीमान नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय। श्री शुक्लम्भर ब्रह्मचारी की जय। श्री भगवत महाप्रसाद की जय। जय श्री चैतन्य भागवत की जय। जय शिल वृंदावन दास ठाकुर की जय। जय शिल प्रभुपाद भक्ति स्नान सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर की जय। जय शिल प्रभुपाद गौरी वश्य की जय। जय श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम वृंदाय तुलसी देव्याय प्रियाय केशवस्य च कृष्ण भक्ति प्रददेवी सत्यवत्याय नमो नमः। पंचाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री राधे।
Dandavat pranams, everybody. Nri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Mahi Bharat Prabhu, Dandavat pranams, and Kishore Krishna Prabhu, Shubhananda Prabhu. Let's see all who's on YouTube and Facebook. 1 second. Okay. Raseshwari Mataji, Shachi, Hari Priya Didi, Vidya Lalasa Didi, Sudevi Didi, Hari Priya Didi, yes, Mahi Bharat Prabhu, Madhavi, Vangsiwala Prabhu, and everybody else. Dandavat pranams. Thank you so much for joining. And tomorrow and the day after will be very short readings. We'll finish very early, probably like 8 o'clock, I'm guessing, instead of 8:30 like normal. But yeah, so does anybody have any points that they'd like to mention before I end the stream for today?
Yeah, do we have time? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have like let's say 10 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, it's very short. Well, a question came to my mind on Śuklāmbara Brahmachari. What didn't he have prem before? As he's begging and he's chanting, he says that day and night he remembered the Lord. There was not a time where he didn't remember him. And he was in total ecstasy, dancing, begging and like that. So I was wondering, why is it that it says that he is also Sudama Vipra. So it's an eternal
So it seems
association.
like there's because there's many instances of Mahaprabhu, right? Like Mahaprabhu wouldn't award prem to Sachimata. So then could we
Right.
say that Sachimata doesn't have prem? Like,
Right.
so I think there's like the pastime of them getting prem, like
Yeah.
in the Leela, like Raghunath Das Goswami, he's like he shows through his whole life the whole progression of a sadhak. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, we see lots of people get bewildered when they read his life, his biography, because it's like he looks like he's an ordinary person, going like, and so it's all Leela, and so that's my guess, but I don't know.
Right. And what one time Gurudev, was sitting with him, Sri Narayana Maharaj, and he said, what comes first, Radha Krishna pastimes or Lord Chaitanya? Some say that Lord Chaitanya is first. He smiled. He was smiling like. So all this is to be understood, obviously, by the mercy of the Lord.
The answer.
It's like the chicken and the egg, huh?
No, right? Yeah, he just left it like that. I was like, yeah, that's true. I mean, we put linear time to try to apply linear time to everything, and then that's
there's
so
no such thing as past and future or anything like that. In
right,
spiritual time.
isn't it?
Everything's
He's the
going
Lord.
on simultaneously. Every single lila ever is
It's going on.
happening constantly at every moment. There's no such thing as a lila happening in the past or will happen in the future. No, they're all happening. Every single lila you can ever is happening constantly. So we can't comprehend that.
Yeah. And another little thing, one time Prabhupada explained about a spontaneous devotional service, Ragamarga, that he said, you go on, it's like one day, every day you go to Mangalarti, and it's your duty. Every day you go, but one day you'll wake up and you can just can hardly wait to get there. Can hardly wait to chant the glories and dance in ecstasy.
Yes. But we have to be careful. Like, we always have to keep the aim, right? Because it is very easy to get stuck in a thing like you just do everything like a robot. Every single day you're doing everything without any mood of prayer or aspiring to have, and if we don't keep that aspiration, then there isn't really that much benefit, I don't think. I mean, it's better than not doing it, but there isn't that much benefit. And so we always have to like remind ourselves to like, we have to pray and we have to remember why are we doing this?
Yes, we're not automatons. So yeah, and the chanting too the other day too is here in the media and YouTube or so, like little brief things, and Prabhupada talks about parroting, chanting like a parrot. And what's the problem with the parrot? As he chants, the cat could come and snap it, and he won't be chanting. He will saying, Prabhupada's Taya, Taya, or something like that. The bird will be screaming for it instead of screaming Krishna, Krishna. And so, yeah, and then I felt like, but isn't there some benefit on that? But no, he's illustrating a point of that not to fall into repetitive,
Not to be a parrot.
Not to be a parrot. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
That's good. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj says it's better to work in the fields planting eggplants than to just pull rope, right? He calls it chanting. He calls chanting Harinam pulling a rope. Like, what's the benefit of pulling a rope? And so we always have to, put our intent, like, not just.
What does that mean? Pulling rope.
But your beads, they can just you're not looking, so you can.
Just pulling rope.
Yeah.
I was looking.
Vangshi Wala Prabhu, this is the second time he's asked. He's asking if Kishore can write out his Jaidwani for us somewhere.
Yeah.
The Jaidwani changes every day according to the topic that we're doing, so there isn't one fixed.
Right. Yeah.
But it's easy.
I guess I could write it down via WhatsApp and you can show him.
Yeah, if you don't mind doing that.
Yeah, we'll
no
all
problem.
like that. Aparikar.
Jai Ho. Yeah, that was very, very wonderful Gaudiya Bhashyas today, weren't they?
Yes, very important.
Yes.
Very interesting about the offering. Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, very interesting. And the offering, the Lord, the fire comes out. And not for Gaudiya Vaishnavas.
That's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah. But then, that the verse, the Lord takes everything, if he really loves you, he's, that's a very important verse. But also, I mean, sometimes, but there was another verse there, something about the poverty-stricken devotees that I really loved, are really close to the Lord, and there were poverty-stricken people that we see that sometimes people have nothing, they're very materialistic, and so you have to discriminate and see. Because I think Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Maharaj, one time he said, just check this out, and to his associates, and he approached, there was this beggar in the street. He said, come with us, we can. All you have to do is follow rules, regulations, in the mat, and like that you'll have to, but you'll have meals, and you'll be taken care of by the Lord. And the one say, no, thank you. So, because we see here in Hawaii and everywhere in America now, it's like tent city, the street people, and they all really, they want their independence. They want to be in the street like that, and some, for different reasons, they fall to that. But there is no one there at the temple lining up.
Yeah.
Although, of course, we had to approach, and we used to approach everybody in the streets by chanting. Everybody got to, when we stopped chanting, people will ask questions. And many times, almost every day, we would come home, walk back to the temple, home, and people will follow us. Sometimes we had about 50 people came back with us. Yeah. But then Prabhupada said, yeah, Krishna took everything, but he gave me now, I lost 4 children and I got 300. Well, of course, later on became 5,000 or 10,000 disciples. And great opulence all over the world. Yeah, vehicles, places.
We had the traveling roadshow. We had buses. We would go out and we do Harinam, and we do plays on the street, and sometimes we do programs or concerts. And every day we'd bring 40 people back to the temple. And when they had to get up for Mangal Arti, most of them disappeared and never came back.
They must have gotten so much Sukriti also. Yeah, that's
yeah, they started something. Yeah, they began.
Yes.
Okay.
There's a beautiful article written by, I think it's Srila Vaman Goswami Maharaj. Yeah, it's all on the topic of the devotees begging, like how this is the activity, like how God, what is the article? It'd be really appropriate in this context, like what we read today. Tomorrow's a short reading. Maybe we could read that if there's enough time, because it really fits with the Śuklāmbara Brahmachari's story. So I'll see. Because tomorrow and the next day we only have, we have 8,000 words. Usually we read over 5,000 words every day. And so I think, because I'm gonna have to break it up in 2 parts. So yeah, maybe we could read that also.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for that. That was a nice discussion. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Jai Shri Radhe. Jai Sachinandan Gaur Hari. Hari Bol. Jai Śuklāmbara Brahmachari. Hari Bol.